Was the Ruthless Aggression Era a thing? This is the first time I'm hearing it. Maybe I'm not a good enough fan. I knew the Hogan era, and then the Attitude Era. There was a Ruthless Aggression Era?
That was when Rock and Steve were both going.
I know what they said it was, but I'd never heard the term used. I knew there was the new generation.
I had a hat that said WWE, the WW without the, there's never been an E, but there's their logo, and then across the back where you snap it together and make the sizes, across that little arch there, it said Ruthless Aggression. So
I think was that the name of a pay-per-view also, or maybe a video game was called Ruthless Aggression? I know the term, but I never heard it applied to
it was
era in the business.
It was. I think because he had that in ring with all the talent around.
The 3-computer era, maybe.
I wonder when the 3 computers came in.
I was legitimately touched to see Bret talk about Owen. He'd always kind of talked about him in any documentary or interview I've seen in a very prepared way. There was some real raw emotion. I thought it was really heartbreaking to watch Bret talk about Owen today.
I mean, I don't think I've ever spoke to. I know I told him I was sorry, but I never brought it up. Something you don't do. Hey, let me pick at that fucking scab you've been.
I know.
It's like,
of
Jesus.
Course.
Yeah.
The product became too sanitized after they shed the Attitude Era and those very risque angles that really kind of pushed the envelope, and then they implied that it got so sanitized that fans were turned off. Are we in the middle ground right now of those two extremes, do you think, Kevin? There was the too sanitized where they were really character-y. Right now, is this the sweet spot?
How I've always felt that there should be, it's like anything else. There should be a version of this it's like a movie. There's a reason why people want to go see a robot carry a duck around that's animation, and fucking, we want to watch blink twice. I mean, it's just, I think you've got to have, I think if you're an entertainment company, you've got to perform entertainment for more than one demographic.
But are we finally treating the women the way they should be treated? Have we lost completely the ethnic angles? Like, are we in the right spot in the business now?
We're in the spot
where it can still be edgy, but not over the top.
But we're in whatever spot that the country that I mean, it's where they're allowed to be. That's pretty much the way I look at everything.
Allowed to be, meaning societal pressures would come down on you.
I mean, because when it comes down to it, if you're not, I mean, you and I could do this show and we can motherfuck everybody, and if we lost our advertising, we'd lose it. We'd never lose our ability to speak whatever we want to speak about, unless Trump wins. No. But no, I just wish they would take an hour and call it Raw, or 2 hours and put it on Netflix and let people fucking cut promos like people cut promos.
Profanity, you mean? Profanity.
It's how people, however, some people cut promos and some people get a sentence out and don't say fuck. I'm just not one of those people.
Clearly. Will we, maybe because it's going to Netflix and anything kind of goes, you don't have to worry about broadcast or profanity or anything. will they start to let guys and girls cut their own promos and not so tightly script everything for the
I don't
fear
think
that
so.
they no,
I don't
it
think
wouldn't
so.
give them more freedom now that they're on
No,
Netflix,
I
the
don't think
performers?
any. I don't know because you're still you have to have control. You can't run Curb Your Enthusiasm. You can't give everybody just hey, this is kind of the premise that don't work.
That's how it was when you were there.
Uh, we we still stayed within the guideline. The actual verbiage might not have, but what the verbiage was supposed to incite, the direction it was supposed to go. That was always we knew that you're gonna see if you can rile him up. He's gonna try to come back at you. We're pushing it towards this. So then if you just go out there and cut a promo, that's
Okay.
but it's not like you're going to go out there and I'm working against Roman Reigns and I cut a promo on Cody.
Well, no, I know, but
Why? That's what if you just kind of did whatever. I mean, it's still a structured. It's a written fucking episodic.
right. It's just different. No, I guess just different. Kev, it's just different. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
God, yeah, everything's different. I look at go back and watch those TNA um, paparazzi production things. Go back and take a gander at those and see how many of those would make today's air.
But they were
Zero.
so much fun because I could tell you guys were just doing what you wanted.
Yeah,
it translated. It wasn't stiff.
That was just me and Borash. And then once we got the guys, then whoever, whether it be Shelley, like Shelley's got a real dry, like I don't know. That was just, and they weren't doing anything with those guys. I said, let's give them personalities and fuck it.
I think that since they're going to be on Netflix and they don't have to worry about language anymore and everything, I think they should add an hour of Click This before each Raw. They should distribute it, the video on Netflix 1 hour before Raw. Distribute our show.
How much were you getting paid?
Well, I'm going to let you and Barry do that. Final chapter of this documentary is they allude to several times because they have to show the title card, distancing talent comments from the Janelle Grant allegations that'll come up at the end of the documentary to let people know that the things they're saying now were before the talent was aware that this was coming. But then they close this with airing a question about Vince's legacy from before, from the 2020 and 2021 footage. It's not relevant because of the talent now that you're showing me. You're showing me Mark, Undertaker, and everyone saying what they think.
And 21 saying, and
yes.
And the thing is, Vince is so fucking complex. And at that point, there enough shit had went on that they were just like, nobody could. When John Cena says,
I'm the wrong person to answer
I'm the wrong
this.
person to ask, who the fuck's the right person to ask?
Well, the answer would have been different on each of their cases, I think. Had they they brought Bruce back.
How would you possibly know since nobody uttered a word?
That's true. Yeah, that's the thing is how do you get complete honesty on Vince McMahon? You're going to ask the talent that's there now, Cody Rhodes. Then they've attached Legends contracts to everybody else, so they're still indebted to WWE.
90% of those guys, while they're being asked that question, guys and girls, Vince is in charge of the company at the time.
At the time, yes. But even guys that listen now, if you wanted to ask a retired NFL player about a coach he had, there's no connection. to that. They're still, these Legends contracts keep them tight-lipped, because even though they're gone, they're 70 years old now. They're still going to think twice about burning a bridge.
If that
because of that royalty check.
absolutely, if that NFL Hall of Famer was to have his pension was based on one person, I guarantee you couldn't get that Hall of Famer to talk shit about that one person.
Correct, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they've
that's
ensured
yes,
that no one can double cross the company.
On top of that,
keeping them on the tit this long.
Vince is very private. There's very few people that have spent any time with Vince. I think during the year that I was his champion, and times were tough, and I think that I had some pretty damn good discussions with him about a lot of different things, and I don't
outside
know.
the ring stuff, human.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, human shit. Because
I get to hear about the third computer at all.
No, but I mean, just I was amazed when he told me, that because when you are in the business, this is before the internet and all this horse shit. This is when people were people. When I got in the business, the thought was that Vince's father was the guy that ran the WWWF, and Vince was his son, and eventually he took over his dad's. That's kind of
like a natural progression.
Yeah, it's like Edsel Ford took over after Henry died. I mean, it's just like, okay, so when you look at it with and it's not like anybody that's been in the business didn't slowly, as the longer they were in, the higher they went up the food chain. You get more of the secrets, and you knew it. What it like. That's I said. Like watching this is just like, okay, so they put the comma in a different place, but fucking, it reads the same.
Yeah. So it's sounding like your answer is you did not get anything new.
The fact that he's probably
his childhood, you said, right?
Well, his childhood was. I mean, I didn't realize. I mean, but I looked, and Steve just said that on Stern and on that Playboy thing that he admitted to being molested. If he was on Stern and said he got molested by his mom, he got molested by his mom.
Yeah, that I didn't recall. I knew the Playboy thing, but I didn't remember him going into that.